This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back, Grant. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. It's good to be back, not on a phone in a church parking lot in North
I
Dakota.
know. Or in a parking garage in Madison.
Oh, yeah, right.
We had two of the sketchiest interactions with you this summer, but you are back and better than ever. You're looking good. You got a Packers jersey on, Grant?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling great.
I'm excited to have you back.
It's good to wear this Packer jersey again. I didn't want to wear it up in the Northwoods.
Yeah.
Of North Dakota. I didn't want anything to happen to it.
No, absolutely not.
My Clay Matthews jersey.
Your Clay Matthews. You got hope that he's gonna, not be too injured for the season and actually do well.
I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned with his injury.
Fair enough. I mean, Packer Nation has got mixed feelings about how they feel about Clay Matthews, but I feel he'll be fine when he comes back.
Yeah, what is it with Green Bay Packers linebackers? Because everybody had a problem with A.J. Hawk. I felt like, okay, he's not like super explosive, high impact defensive player, but he was a solid
I
linebacker.
feel like that's like a good punchline. It's like a Green Bay Packers linebacker. People are like, that's funny. Like, you don't like.
Why is everybody hating on the linebackers?
I'm not saying
their
they're
linebackers are bad.
No, I don't think they're horrible, but either way, we'll get into them a little bit later. So, for those of you that haven't heard, today is the official start of the Bax and Grant Sports Show. Fall, I guess, the fall series. Is that the best way to do it?
Schools.
Because the first semester, we kind of base our shows around the school year. I'm done with school. Woo!
Proud of you. Proud of you. Applause.
Is it receive with your right? Receive with your left, shake with your right. Keep that in mind. Grant still has a little bit more to go with college, unfortunately, but we're kind of basing it around the school year, which is going to be easy for you. But you can now find us officially starting today, Monday through Friday, from 7 to 8 a.m. Central Time, live on Spreaker.com. If not, you can listen to us on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central on Live 365 and TuneIn. You can also listen to us on demand anytime you want, like I said, on Spreaker, but you also can listen to us on iHeartRadio and on iTunes as well. And then just as of a few weeks ago, you can also find our content on thesportsquotient.com as well. The Sports Quotient, awesome website, great articles. They really enjoy testing your SQ. So go in and check out that site. We usually feature some of their content on our show as well, so go check them out. And then social media, we continue to grow on that, Grant. We have multiple platforms. We are on Periscope, so hello to all of you watching on Periscope. Hello, Mo Reddy. I believe you just said hello to us. So Mo Reddy, I like that. It's like Mo Money, but Mo Reddy. Anyway, you can watch and listen to us on Periscope in the morning times if you want to live look into the studio and check out Grant and I and see the sweet caveman beard? I don't know. We need a good word for what Grant is trying to grow on his face right now.
Trying to grow?
No, you've grown it.
You've
grown it. You've got
friend.
like one patch, though.
That's the daily struggle with my face. Like, the sideburns grow.
He's got a neck beard. Thank you, Mo Reddy. Yes, he's got a neck beard.
And then I got a goatee.
It's not actually that necky. Like, it stops. It's just long goatee hairs.
It grows nice goatee, solid sideburns, but then like an inch where it's just bald, does not connect, doesn't grow. It's the most obnoxious thing.
It is. It absolutely is. But anyway, you can find us, though, on Facebook, The Bax and Grant Sports Show, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at BG Sports Show. You can follow Grant at Grant's Rant, BGSS, and you can follow myself at Baxter Colburn as well. And most of you can drop us an email also if you want to. You can drop us an email at bgsportshow@gmail.com. And then as of recently, if you want to voice your opinion, you can call and leave us a voicemail or text us your thoughts during the show or after the show by dialing the number 262-324-2385. That's 262-324-2385. We'd love to hear from you. Call and leave us a voicemail. Let us know your thoughts. Text us something that you're interested in about what's going on during the show. Thoughts about something we've talked about also. We've gotten some posts on our Facebook wall recently from one of our loyal listeners, James Williams. So shout out to you, James. Thank you so much for your listenership. James is a big Packers guy. He's based in that La Crosse, Wisconsin area. So he's always got some good insight that he just drops on us. So appreciate that, James. And I think that's think that's all all the business stuff I'm supposed to say in the beginning, I think, right? I didn't miss anything.
Did you said Facebook?
I said Facebook.
I think we have everything.
I think so. We've got a lot of different places that we're involved in. So I'm thrilled, honestly, by just how our growth continues to be. And it's exciting to see. So with that, we want to dive in. And with that, we want to talk about the Green Bay Packers, Grant.
Oh,
because
always.
I feel like, it's a good thing to talk about. We don't have any more insight on what's going on with Jordy Nelson, unfortunately. So if you're looking to get more info on Jordy Nelson, we know as much as Rob Domofsky, as ESPN, as anybody. Exactly. R.I.P. Jordy is what Mo Reddy is telling us on Periscope. It's pretty true, honestly.
I'm still in denial.
Grant is in denial.
The Packers officially.
Magoo 446 thinks the Vikings are going to take the NFC Central, though, which is interesting because the Vikings are, in my opinion, the dark horse.
Yeah, I'm coming out and saying that I went and looked through the schedule, and I said that the Vikings could easily go 10-6 or 11-5.
Really?
Yeah.
And now that Jordy is gone for the Packers,
you never know. Like the Packers, I'm not saying that the Packers season is going to be up in jeopardy. I'm still saying that. Mo already says Blake Bortles for MVP. I mean, all the way. But yeah,
I don't. No, probably not.
Jordy, it does change the season a little bit. I still think the Packers still have a pretty good shot at winning.
Absolutely.
The North. But it's not going to be as easy as it was with him. But the Packers, look how much depth that they have in wide receiver. They have 12 players on the roster in wide receiver. And, they're not going to all be fantastic. But you have Jeff Janis, who has
the new Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, he looks a lot like
really
him, too.
Does.
It's actually kind of uncanny. And he has been playing fantastically this preseason. So he's really interesting.
I like Devontae Adams. I like Ty Montgomery.
Right.
I mean, they continue to draft wide receivers. Like last year, the Packers drafted 3 wide receivers. They drafted Devontae Adams, Jared Abbrederis, and Jeff Janis. And I think some people were like, why are they drafting so many wide receivers? For this reason.
Right.
For this exact reason.
Rebuild.
Jordy Nelson goes down, and we need to realize that Packer Nation needs to just relax a little bit.
Right.
Because I think when Jordy went down, people were, Aaron Rodgers needs to come out and say, relax, in that weird, creepy voice.
Because
again.
it's still, like, even when Aaron Rodgers went down, the team was not nearly as good as he was. But the Packers still made it to the playoffs. And they still have, the Packers, like we were saying, still has some pretty solid depth. And I kind of wanted to hit on this with the Packers' 5 guys on the roster, because you have Nelson, but now he's hurt. You have Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, Ty Montgomery, and then as it's looking right now, Jeff Janis, because he has been stepping up, and that was going to kind of be the 5th guy. But now with Jordy Nelson going down, who's going to be the
5th wide receiver? Well, it really doesn't make a big difference, and I think that Magoo 466 makes a good point there too, where he says it doesn't really matter as long as you've got Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. There's going to be a good starting 4 of receivers. You're going to have Cobb, Devontae Adams, Ty Montgomery, and Jeff Janis. You've got Miles White.
I'm not a huge Devontae Adams fan, though. He drops
Devontae can go
a lot of balls.
He does, yes. But the great thing about it is that you have Richard Rodgers at tight end as well. And Richard Rodgers has had a fantastic preseason so far. And it really helps with his terrific catch that he made yesterday during the preseason game against the Steelers. Scott Tolzien, I'm pretty sure, threw it behind him. Like, it was pretty obvious.
Right.
And it flew behind him, and Richard Rodgers made a great, leaping catch, was able to bring it down and run and finish out the play accordingly, and ended up scoring a touchdown. Richard Rodgers, I think, is the type of player that's going to be a sleeper for a lot of people in their fantasy leagues.
That's why you picked him.
Aside from that, I just think, Aaron Rodgers got to throw the ball to a tight end sometime, so why not pick Richard Rodgers? Because Andrew Corliss is not more than likely going to be the starter this year in Green Bay, and he just really hasn't shown
he has not.
anything.
Yeah, and kind of going on top of that with just looking at the rest of the game, And you guys are making some good comments on Periscope. A lot of people are saying that you only need average receivers for the kind of quarterback that Aaron Rodgers is.
Yes.
And to an extent that is true, but it still would have been great to have Jordy Nelson. But looking at the rest of the game, in my opinion, wasn't as good as the first preseason game. The first team looked better. In my opinion, they
did.
came down
They
and they
fluidly.
scored. They scored right away, and that's the Packers we're used to seeing. They were great in the first quarter last year. They just come down and score right away.
Yes.
But the big problem was third down. The Packers only went 2 for 14 on third down.
You're
which
not
is
going to win
awful.
games going 2 for 14.
No, you need to extend drives because you're not going to get great field position. And also a big problem, the Packers, they did not have a lot of first down production, and that's why they got stuck with so many third downs. Another concern was Mass Day. Did
Tim Mass
not
Day, the
look
punter,
good.
yes.
He had not one, but I think about 3 line drives, spiral, not good punts that were troublesome.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree with you on that one. And that was what the commentators were saying as well about it. When, during that first part of the game, they're saying, we'll see how Tim Mastay does this year. He hasn't done very well. That one punt that they were talking about, he bombed it, and it looked great. And then, like you said, after that, line drive, kick coverage. You got to be able to have time to get down there.
Right.
It's not. You can't make a good play if you're just like, oh, there's the punt. Oh, he's got it already. It's like, no. As someone that was a former kicker, you got to try to give that guy your guys running down as much possible also. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have a lot more exciting things to talk about. Fantasy football is alive and well. We're going to definitely get to that later on in the show. Grant is going to have his rant. Connor Christensen will be stopping by to give his fitness tip. And then the Little League World Series, Grant. What the heck's the point of the Little League World Series?
There's some point to it.
Oh, Grant seems to think so. We'll talk about that when we get back. This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio as we are back and better than ever. Remember, you can check us out Monday through Friday at our brand new time from 7 to 8 a.m. Central Time, live right here on Spreaker.com. And you can listen to us on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, as well on Live 365 and TuneIn. And then you also can find us on iHeartRadio. You can find us on iTunes and thesportsquotient.com as well. I'm at Baxter Colburn. He's at Grant's Rant, BGSS. That's
Yes.
right. There's an S at the end of Grant, not Grant's. It's
it's a thing. It's
never
a
been
whole
good
thing.
with S's. It works though. Anyway, Grant, it's exciting because we've been such a long time since I've heard this music. For those of you listening, you know that music means that Grant's Rant is back, which is probably the best part of the show, honestly. So I'm excited to get to Grant's rant. Grant, are you ready for your rant, sir?
Oh, I'm extremely ready.
All right. For those of you that don't know how Grant's rant works, Grant gets 1 minute on the clock to rant about anything he wants in the sports world, and then we can kind of hash it out a little bit more after that. But Grant has to fit all of his key major talking points into 1 minute, and we'll see how that works out for him. All right? Are you ready, Grant?
I am ready.
On your mark. Get set. Go.
All right, Tigers versus Rangers last night. There was a fan hit with a ball, a foul ball. She was injured, actually taken to the hospital. And then there was a fan hit with a splintered bat, all in the same game.
Good Lord.
Both were injured, and this has been a constant thing, especially this year. There was a fan earlier this year that was almost died from being hit. And then also I did some research, and in some minor league games, there has been some foul balls where a fan was hit in the head, and they did die. And there's been some calls for more netting, and then they're like, oh, fans can just get out of the way. But these balls are coming in really fast. Like, what can you do? And Tigers general manager Al Avila said the decision to installing nets is currently left to the discretion of the team. So it's up to them. It's up to the managers and the whole organization to put that up. So they should really get on that, because it's been a big thing right now.
Absolutely. Fan safety needs to be first and foremost when you are at a baseball game. You know, obviously bats breaking does not happen as often as a stray foul ball. Foul balls happen every other pitch, it seems like, honestly.
And like most of the foul balls, from what I was reading, they're like, it's down the line. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's like, oh yeah, they're not paying attention, and all of a sudden they're getting the ball to the back of the head.
Yes.
But then still at the same time, sometimes I can be watching, and those balls can be coming really fast at you. So a lot of people are calling for more netting. And then just baseball in general, there was a bat boy in minor league. I don't know if you heard of this, Baxter, but there was one of the minor league batters. He was doing his swinging, practice swinging, and on the backswing, the bat boy got hit in the head and it killed him.
I did hear that, which is just horrible.
And you're hearing all these things from, or like bat boys or fans, and there's not a lot of safety. There's a lot of fan injury, and I feel like that's the biggest in any sport. Just think of any sport, and how is, like, even futsal, that can get a little dangerous for a spectator, because
because those are weighted balls,
right?
It's way different.
You don't hear anything about somebody just getting clocked in the face by a futsal ball and them dying, but no, there's spectators being killed just going to these games. So there needs to be more safety, and especially after the Tigers-Rangers game, where there was 2 instances where fans were injured by stuff going into the crowd. It's just that I don't see why you don't want to put more netting up. It should just be necessary.
Fan safety is crucial, because if fans are in danger of going to a game, why are they going to want to go? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all, honestly, why you wouldn't want to protect the fans, because at the end of the day, the fans are the ones that give you money. The fans are the ones that are going to support your team.
Right.
You wouldn't have a team if you didn't have a fan base.
Right.
And if your fan base feels threatened and endangered, they're not going to want to go to a game.
Right.
Simple as that.
Yeah. So the players and coaches after the game were calling for more safety, but then the Tigers general manager made a great point. It's like it's not up to the commissioner right now. It's up to the individual teams. So the teams are the ones that need to go and realize that this is an issue right now. And I feel like...
What about like a plexiglass wall? Like almost like a hockey game.
Right. I don't know.
Does it take away the fan experience?
I don't know. It might, because then who can you reach over and grab balls? And that might be a problem for some of the people. And I think that's the biggest concern, that it's going to take away from the fan experience. That's why they're not going to put up netting or anything like that. But if you don't have any fans, you're not going to have a fan experience.
Small bit of netting they have is good enough for those like people that are paying $500 a ticket to sit behind first,
and the majority of foul balls that are dangerous do hit the netting, they did like some math thing and found where the majority of yeah, I was reading about it. They did some math, and math happened, and then foul balls, and then they were like, oh, the net is good here, but yeah, that's
because I remember when science and math helped me.
And, like, you know, like the majority of the balls that go off, like, the very top of the bat and just go back and would destroy somebody if there wasn't a net there. But then there's the very, very small percentage where a foul ball can be dangerous if you're not ready.
No, I completely agree with you on that one. It's this safety in baseball is so weird because it's such a small, confined thing. Like, it's a small little ball. The baseball, like, when the bat breaks, you never know where that goes. We've seen pitchers get drilled more often than fans.
Yeah.
So with the baseball going rogue, usually, not always, usually those are like upper deck foul balls.
Right. Well, and then you have to think, even like players mentally, if you don't need to be worried about, oh, is this foul ball going to hurt somebody?
No.
Your focus is trying to get a hit or doing something for your team.
Exactly. It's going to throw off the mental focus of the players.
Right. And like a foul ball, you're going to be maybe worried about, or like the person that got injured, you saw a big commotion. We're like, is that me? Now you feel bad.
Exactly.
It's like, it's not good for anybody. It's not really good for anybody involved.
Exactly. No, exactly. As C. Plath 10 says on Periscope, he said, if you're going to extend the net, extend it to the end of the dugout. It's not a bad idea.
Right. No, yeah, that's
because after that, honestly, it doesn't. Everybody else is pretty much
good.
Covered. Yeah. Let us know your thoughts. We're curious. Safety in baseball, always a big one. We're going to go to another break. When we come back, we're going to review how everybody that took place in the Bax and Grant Sports Show Fantasy Football Draft last night did. Grant's a fantasy football rookie. We'll see how he does this season. We're going to look at his team. We're going to look at my team. We'll look at a few other guest teams and just kind of chat about it for a little bit. So this is the Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio as we have begun our new series going Monday through Friday. That's right. You can listen to us every single day during the week, of course. Monday through Friday, you can listen to Grant and I from 7 to 8 a.m. Central Time live on Spreaker.com, and you can listen to us on Sports Radio America and Live 365 and tune in from 11 to 1 Central, 12 to 2 Eastern, however you need to figure the heck out
wherever you live.
We've got a small listening population in England, so they've got to go add another 6 hours on. You figure it out. You're smart people. Just do the math.
Over the pond. You guys got it.
Exactly.
Is that what they say?
It's over across the pond.
Across the pond?
Across the pond, not over the pond. Over, little different.
Over the river and through the woods?
We're not going to Grandma's house.
Okay.
It's not quite fall yet.
I thought that was like a Christmas song.
I think so. To grandmother's house we go.
Anyway.
I don't know. We'll figure that out later on in the show. There's always the random things.
Football and man stuff time.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, you can follow Grant on Twitter at Grant's Rant, BGSS, and you can follow me at Baxter Colburn. You can follow us on Twitter at BG Sports Show. Instagram and Snapchat are all the same with that as well. And then on Facebook, like us, the Bax and Grant Sports Show as well. And then you can watch us on Periscope. Also, for those of you who've got a good response, Magoo 446.
Talking crap.
We had Mo Ready. We had C Plath 10 that have been commenting. So if you make a comment, we're happy to give you guys a shout out as long as it's appropriate.
Right.
Appropriate.
Yeah. All of you Periscope people.
Talking to you. I call them Periscopians. I don't know if they like that or not, but I call them that.
No, if you haven't given Periscope a try, it's actually a really fun app. I watched when they were still deciding the Madden 16 cover.
Ah, yes.
Odell versus Gronkowski,
Yes.
and they were doing like an interview, and that was it's a fun little app.
It is.
So if you haven't tried it out, it's actually really interesting.
Very interactive. I love it. All right, Grant. Fantasy football is happening very shortly. We had our official Bax and Grant Sports Show fantasy football draft last night.
Yes, we did.
It was done by. There's 12 teams in our league this year. We've got a very interesting, setup in terms of all the people that are involved. Let's see if I can remember everybody. So it's myself and you. We have Corey Plath, who has come on and done soccer coverage for the show. Matt Evans and Chris Blakely of Vavel USA. They're both NFL and MLS guys. Joe Wolfrath, our golf expert. Megan Landvatter, our college basketball and Green Bay Packers insider as well.
Baseball.
And baseball as well. Connor Christensen, who is our health guy and our fight corner guy also. Danny Hoffenstein, who's good with some college basketball and some NFL stuff as well. David Kenyon, who will be featured on the show twice a week. He will be doing some fantasy football stuff and some general football stuff. He also writes for Bleacher Report. Go check him out. Fantastic writer. Great friend of the show. And who am I missing? Got you. Oh, Sam Wallace and Zach Poppenfuss as well. For those of you guys who are going, who the heck's Sam Wallace? Sam Wallace is going to be coming on the show this year, and he'll be doing some running 101 tips for us. So a lot of you out there are like, I want to run, but I don't know how. Well, first of all, that's your first problem. If you don't know how to run, just say, hey, chase me.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sam will be coming on to help us out to explain the wonderfulness that is running and some other insights as well. He's a very smart guy in the sports world. Other than Zach Poppenfuss, just the random grab bag of knowledge that is
Zach Poppenfuss.
So, Grant, we're going to go through each of our teams right now just briefly before we go to another break and then bring Connor Christensen in. So we'll start with your team, Grant, since you're the newbie. I like what you did with the general concept of drafting Andrew Luck as your quarterback. I thought that was a very smart move.
By the way, I was picked 6 in a snake draft.
Yes, pick 6 out of 12 in a snake draft. So as of right now, your starters, you have Andrew Luck, Bishop Sankey. We're just going to call him Sankey. I don't know why we're just going to call him Sankey. Yeah. Todd Gurley, Emmanuel Sanders, Golden Tate, Rob Gronkowski, Mike Wallace, the Ravens defense, and Mason Crosby. That's who your starters are right now. How do you feel about your starting lineup?
I feel pretty solid about my starting lineup. The only thing I wish I did a little... I thought I changed... Actually, who I want to start for my running back instead of Sankey is Isaiah Cronwell. I thought I did that last time.
The Browns starting running back.
Yes, the Browns starting running back. I wanted to change that. But I feel like I did pretty well with... my starters except my running backs. The problem was I got Andrew Luck first round, and then I went and grabbed Gronk second round.
Not a bad pick.
And then by the third round, a lot of the good running, some of the more top running backs were gone. I'm glad I actually grabbed Crowell because I thought he was gone. And I was like, oh, he's still there, and I grabbed him, right? And it was a current theme last night that I was really good at stealing every single player that Connor
more so,
wanted.
yes, yeah. Connor Christensen was literally,
about to destroy
I heard
me.
mentions of castration. I heard mentions of other things that cannot be said on the air. I don't know if I should have even said castration on the air, but I did, so.
It's technical. You're fine.
It's true, but... There was just a lot of fantasy football. Anybody that has played fantasy football, when you're with your buddies and, oh, who are you going to pick, man? Oh, I'm thinking of this guy. Oh, cool. Take him. And it's like, what? I think that only happened to me once or twice last night, that I was completely set on I'm going to draft this guy.
Well, I took Crosby.
You took Mason Crosby. The one player I've had on my team every single year has been Mason Crosby. Every single mock draft I did this year leading up to the draft, I was like, oh, Mason Crosby. Link. And
I had Mason
Grant
Crosby on my
him.
team every year.
I'm working out an Adrian Peterson for Mason Crosby trade right now as we speak.
I'd be okay with that if you gave me your kicker too.
No, why would I give you a kicker?
Because then I'd be out of a kicker. I
go
would
to the free agent market.
But I need a kicker.
Not my problem, Grant. You picked Crosby. No.
I am happy. I would have taken Adrian if I got the second pick.
I know you would have. Yeah, I had the second pick last night. My starting lineup as of now. It's probably going to change a little bit. Tony Romo, Adrian Peterson, Carlos Hyde, Randall Cobb, Jarvis Landry, Richard Rodgers, Torrey Smith, the Vikings defense, and Cody Parkey.
There's a Y there. Don't worry.
English is my fifth language. Not really. I just say that. People are like, oh, what else do you speak? I'm like, yeah, it's just I'm not smart. I'm sorry. Some days it's a struggle for me to say words in English and stuff. That's why I'm not a writer.
Every day. Yeah, that's why you're not in.
That's why I'm not in sports. That's why I don't do broadcasting because I can't speak English.
Yeah, broadcasting is bad for people who talk. Just to let you know, Baxter is in broadcasting.
I am, yes.
so we get the comedy.
Sports broadcasting and journalism as well.
But yeah, so Baxter, how do you feel about your starting lineup?
You know, honestly, I'm thrilled with the receivers I have. Randall Cobb and Jarvis Landry, I think, are going to do wonders this year. Adrian Peterson, I think, is going to do great. The Vikings defense is going to turn in some good points for me this year. My only concern is Torrey Smith and Carlos Hyde because they're 49er players. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up starting both of them or not week one because of the fact that Colin Kaepernick is the quarterback in San Fran, and I just don't know exactly what the San Fran is going to do this year.
Right. It's kind of there was a lot of players like Philadelphia.
Yes.
My big problem with drafting some of the Philadelphia players, and one of my running backs is Ryan Matthews, and I was like, I really want to pick him, but how much is he going to get the ball?
Exactly.
And I drafted him anyway because I'm like, you know what? He's a decent running back.
He is. He's not horrible.
He's like the second running back right now that's kind of – and the Eagles just – the Legion of Zoom, the weirdness – the weirdness that is the Eagles right now. I just don't know how like some of the players were going to do. So you kind of had to factor in some of that. And then if you look at David Kenyon's team.
Yes, we were all kind of wondering what he was doing last night because David is a smart guy.
Very smart.
Very smart guy. So if you're listening, David, props to you.
Yeah, and he kind of took an interesting
approach.
Yeah, because what he did is a lot of his players are not on good teams, which I mean that doesn't matter for fantasy sports. But they're like their number one, some of their like top players.
Yes,
and it's in my opinion that can be a little bit of as a risk because. All you can do is you can pretty much just stack up on that one player and how many points are they're gonna get you. But I mean that's kind of like the struggle with fantasy. It's like strength of schedule, how much are they gonna get the ball, and that was kind of some of our struggles last night. Was like with the Philadelphia teams, like how much is this person gonna get the ball? Like, do I pick them?
Well,
because
I don't feel like anybody in Philly is gonna get the ball like a lot.
Right,
like DeMarco Murray's gonna get the ball most of the time. But then looking at the wide receiver bits of it, like it's going to be, Nelson Angor is going to get the ball probably a fair amount. Jordan Matthews. Now, looking at David Kenyon's team, he did an interesting approach. He drafted Le'Veon Bell and Tom Brady and Arian Foster. Yes. So Foster is rumored to be able to come back in the second half of the season. Tom Brady will either be out for 4 games, 1 game, 7 games. I don't know.
But all these players he got later. Except
Not
I
Bell.
think Bell.
He got Bell early.
He
got Bell in like the end of second round, I think, is when he grabbed Bell. And we were all like, what's he doing? But it makes sense that he got him. No, I think that was his first pick overall, like when he drafted with the 11th pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah, I know Bell was early, but Tom Brady he got later. Foster he got later.
He went back-to-back with Brady and Phillip Rivers, which is smart.
Yeah. So, but his starting lineup is he has...
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers. You just read it. I can't read your screen.
Okay. Phillip Rivers, Latavius Murray, T.J. Yeldon, Dez Bryant, Alshon Jeffrey, so he's got 2 good wide receivers. Delaney Walker, Mike Evans, 3 good receivers. The Chiefs' defense, which is decent, and then Caleb Sturgis, the Miami kicker. He also took the approach of waiting to get his defense and kicker in the last 2 rounds, which you're traditionally supposed to do in fantasy football.
Meh. I wanted to take Rossi from you.
What was it? Was it the 3rd round? Was it the 4th round? When did Seattle's defense go?
Seattle's defense, I think, went in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Was
it Matt or Chris?
I don't remember.
I think it was Matt. Matt Evans, one of our NFC West guys. He's a Seahawks insider for us as well, and an MLS insider. And he decided to grab the Seahawks defense in the 4th round. 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah,
and we were all like, oh, grabbing a quarterback, grabbing a wide receiver. There goes the Seahawks defense. And I'm like, wow, wait a minute. But it's a bold move, Cotton, but we'll see if it pays off, to borrow the dodgeball term. But never seen dodgeball?
Nope, never seen dodgeball.
Awkward. All right, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to have Connor Christensen on the line as he offers us his health tip, and we will continue to roll. This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio as Grant and I continue to roll on with the new fall series of the Bax and Grant Sports Show. You can now catch us Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. on Spreaker.com.
Yeah, it's Spreaker. Yeah,
no, it is. No, I was going to say something else, and I was like, I should finish the first thought before I move on to the second thought. So we have a massive audience. We have someone from the UK listening to us right now, watching us on Periscope. Hello. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. She's asking us about Justin Bieber, so I think she's a little confused about that we're talking about sports. You don't really see Justin Bieber in sports talked about too much in the same sentence.
All-Star game for the NBA 2010, was it?
Yes.
He was going ham.
I guess so.
He's good at basketball. Justin Bieber
Is he good at hockey? He's from Canada.
I would love to get him I would love to see him get destroyed. That'd be hilarious. Put him in the All-Star game. Just gets open ice, just check, and his center ice just gets absolutely destroyed.
Gotcha. Well, Miss JD Blue on Periscope, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. And if Justin Bieber ever happens to come up in the sports world, we'll make sure to let you know, because we'll definitely be talking about it here on the show. Well, it is that time of the show on the Bax and Grant Sports Show. Last semester, it was Mondays and Fridays with Connor Christensen. Now it is Mondays and Thursdays. And today brings in Connor Christensen so he can offer his health tip. So, Connor, welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic, man. It's great to have you back on the show in a more official capacity. You were in the studio a lot over the summer, but you're calling in today, which is totally fine. Grant said you had a bit of an issue with your alarm this morning. You forget how to wake up, or what's going on there, bud?
No. Well, if the listeners were listening to the show last time, I got a new phone. I upgraded. I upgraded to the Samsung Galaxy S6.
There you go.
I set my alarm for 6 a.m. this morning, so I could get up with plenty of time to make it into the studio, and I set it for every day, but apparently that did not include today. So
every day means every day, except even your phone can't even do Mondays.
In Connor's defense,
so I woke up with just enough time to give you a call and say, hey, I'm not coming into the studio. I'm calling in instead.
It happens. So, don't worry. We still love you, Connor.
In Connor's defense, the S6 alarm is really weird.
That's why you need an iPhone.
Thank you.
That's why you need an iPhone.
Well, like another week. I can go back in and say, enough with this Samsung. Give me the iPhone.
Hey, welcome. If you want to do that, you can. I will gladly welcome you to the iPhone family.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I can figure out in a lot.
You'd be surprised some days. Anyway, Connor, welcome to the studio. You've got your fitness tip for us today, sir. What exciting knowledge do you have to bestow upon us?
Well, we are going off of I'm continuing my series of how to be a better athlete.
Awesome.
So, and this week's is very near and dear to me because a member of the Minnesota Vikings is injured.
Oh.
And it pains me. So I'm going to talk about what he does, and that player, for those of you who don't know Minnesota Vikings, is Phil Lodeholt. He tore his ACL or his Achilles.
His Achilles.
It
was his Achilles.
Yeah, and he is done for the whole season, which
Grant
is
just keeled
heartbreaking
over on the
because
floor, imagining tearing his Achilles.
Yeah,
that seems extremely painful.
I can.
I'm okay.
Yes,
on a super side note, I'm so sorry. I want to know what would be worse because we joke about slashing each other's Achilles. What would be more painful, slashing an Achilles or tearing your Achilles? I feel like slashing is just quick and easy.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. I'm just as a side note, like I'm just curious. What would be more painful with an Achilles pain?
I will say due to the violent nature of tearing something rather than cutting it. Because, I mean, if you look at a piece of paper that you cut with a scissors versus you tear with your hand,
True.
You can look at the difference in damage to the muscle fiber.
Very true.
This guy.
Smart.
Paper in that case. But it's pretty much the same kind of concept. You have a bunch of frayed ends of the muscle fiber. It would... you wouldn't just cut like nerve endings, you would tear nerve endings, and that is so much more stress.
It's like you went to school or something.
Yeah, I would say tearing your Achilles would be more painful.
Good to know. So if you're ever going to hurt somebody, tear their Achilles, don't slash it.
Anyway,
we just saved so many people.
You're welcome.
No, we don't condone violence on the Baxton Grant Sports Show. But anyway, Phil Lodeholt, he tore his Achilles. Sorry to sidetrack. I just was curious about that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
These are the things that go in. These are the things that happen in my head on a daily basis.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing. I'm fine.
All right. So anyway, my fitness tip of the day is how to be a better blocker, a better offensive lineman. How do you do it? You see big men on the football field, and all it looks like is that they just get in the way. Well, it's not exactly that easy to be a good offensive lineman. So how exactly do you do it? Well, first we have to think about what is the role of the offensive line. And the answer is that they are protection for the quarterback and running back and whoever else is in the backfield.
Yes.
They are the only line of defense for to block the defensive line. And so there are different ways that you can become very proficient in blocking, in quote-unquote getting in the way. So first of all, the most important, well, maybe not the most important, but one of the most important aspects of being an offensive lineman is you have to be big. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
It's very simple.
I thought myself...
They are the biggest...
I thought myself as a 6'1", 165 man could be an all-state lineman.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm big.
No,
I'm tall.
In the football world, though...
That's why I played kicker.
Anyway. No, Max, so you'd be eaten alive.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
So,
well.
It is. Offensive linemen are, in fact, the biggest members of the football team. They are bigger than anybody else on the team, and that is because they have to be. Because they have to be so big that you can't move them. But, unfortunately, as we see so often, you cannot do it with size alone. You have to have the power to back it up.
Yes.
Now, the next part of being a good blocker, being a good offensive lineman, is definitely base of support and core strength. Those two aspects make or break an offensive lineman. So let me explain a little bit.
Please.
Core strength, you've heard me talk about core exercises versus your actual core.
Yes.
And I will go over that again. Core exercises are exercises, the most basic of exercises in a weightlifting routine, aka like a bench press or a squat or a deadlift. The types of exercises that utilize several different muscle groups at one time.
Okay.
And your actual core, like anatomically on your body, is your abdominal region, your low back, and that's what I say when I say your core when I'm talking about the human body.
Absolutely.
Now, this, unfortunately, is another usage of core. So I'm going to break this one down now.
Okay.
It is, when I'm talking about core stability, I'm talking about all of the muscles in your body that are not in charge of big motions or movements. So what I mean is when you stand still, if you're just standing there, you'll notice that you rock back and forth side to side. And that is because the muscle on the back of your lower leg, called your calf muscle, is not doing anything. Now, when you're running, your calf muscle's working like crazy to propel you forward. But the calf cannot be bothered with just minor movements such as standing up straight. So it does literally nothing unless you activate it yourself. You have a muscle in your leg that keeps you from falling over. Every time you kind of shift back to equilibrium, that is that muscle working. It's called the soleus. The soleus muscle works to keep you standing.
Okay,
now,
that makes sense.
Working those types of stabilizer muscles makes you a lot harder to knock down. The way that you work on those muscles is by working with free weights. So instead of using a Smith machine for your squats, use free weights for your squats. It sounds very simple.
But that does actually make a lot more sense.
That's why, and last time I talked about how to be a better catcher, we talked about grip strength. And what I said for that was, lifting your own weight. Don't get assistance from somebody to lift your own weight, because if you need assistance to lift it, you're not strong enough to handle it. It sounds weird, because if I can do the weight, like do the motion with the weight, I should be able to handle it. If you get it to the starting position, you can't do it. It doesn't count. Not in my eyes. Lift your own weight. Don't get assistance.
Be a man about it.
The same is true for something like this. You have to be able to handle your own weight. And how you do that is you work with free weights, and you work starting lower, then you get heavy. So for an offensive lineman, they're squatting, ridiculous amounts of weight, and that's because their legs have to be super powerful.
Okay.
Not just their thighs or the back of their legs or their calves. Those do have to be really powerful.
That does help.
But
yes,
you
but
also
it's not.
have to.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, you get a lot of explosive power from your thighs, and your hips. You have to be strong. But if you are all strength, but then, someone comes at you from a weird angle and you just go down right away, that's pretty wortherless. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get signed by anybody except maybe the Browns. I'm just kidding. But who ironically have they have the best offensive lineman in the NFL in Joe Thomas. But anyway,
Wisconsin product. Just saying.
So how you be able to handle hits from different angles and stay up is that mental awareness, that working on those core stable muscles in order to stay standing. And so that was core stabilizers, all of the muscles that control stability.
Okay.
That's what core stabilizer muscles are. Now, the other thing that I said was base of support. So your base of support is when we studied biomechanics and kinesiology in class, the base of support is defined as basically the points of contact on the ground. So if I have 1 foot on the ground, I am at a much higher disadvantage than if I have both feet and a hand on the ground. Being closer to the ground also brings your center of gravity tighter. I want to say that. Yeah, that'll be a good way to describe it. It's tighter to you.
Okay.
So, and when you have a center of gravity that is tighter to your body, you are able to bring out more power, take more punishment without falling over. So, working on your base of support can increase your ability to take punishment from the defense.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, no, that certainly makes a lot of sense and can make for, like you said, it would make for more
Hello, did I lose you guys?
No, we're still here. We got you. Connor? Hello? Connor?
Hey, Bax, did I lose you guys?
No, we got you. Are you there? I don't know. Okay.
Grant.
Well, unfortunately, we had to let Connor go. Everything was, I don't know.
Weird.
It was there. Weird. I don't know. He was plugged in. Everything was working, but sometimes, unfortunately, the equipment fails us. So.
Well, yeah. Recap. It was center of gravity. He was focusing on getting closer to the ground and just having a better core, and also with using, like, if you're doing a squat, using free weights instead of it's not really assisted. I don't know the technical name for it, but it's the one that, like, run on a track. So because that uses it helps the muscle that stabilizes you more. But if you want a recap on that last segment, you can go and listen to our shows on demand on Spreaker. You can just go back and listen to that. And with any of our shows, you can go and do that and listen back.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go to one more break. When we come back, we're going to be chatting about the Little League World Series. And just Grant is going to try to convince me what the heck the point of the Little League World Series is, because, frankly, I don't see it.
All right, I'll give you knowledge.
Okay, sounds good. This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Welcome back inside the studio as we are concluding our first of our fall series shows. We are now available Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central, live on Spreaker.com. You can also listen to us on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 Central Time on Live 365 and Tune In. You can also listen to us on demand anytime you want by going back, like Grant said earlier, on Spreaker. You can also listen to us on iTunes and on iHeartRadio as well. We've had a great show so far today, Grant. We've chatted fantasy football. We've talked about the Packers. Connor Christensen was on to talk about his fitness tip. You talked about Major League Baseball and the safety aspect of it in terms of if there needs to be nets on baseball fields, like more nets to protect from foul balls. And now we're returning back to the baseball world, Grant, to talk about the Little League World Series.
Yes.
Now, for some of you, you may or may not know that there is a mini version of what Major League Baseball does. It's called the Little League World Series. It's like the World Cup of baseball.
Yeah, for children.
Children, basically. Do you know the age range?
I think it's 12 and 13 or 11 and 12, because I know it's like a big deal.
Yes.
Like with the age. I think 13 might be too old. I don't
think it's
remember.
Probably 11 and 12.
Yeah, because I think it's 11 and 12 because they split it up into. This is my thing with it. They split it up into different categories, like of age groups. But Little League is like the biggest one.
Okay.
Like they have something like this for every age level, but for some reason. Little League is the big one, the one that's always on ESPN,
yes,
and everything like that. But the reason you wanted to talk about this because ESPN did something really interesting.
They did, yes. It was the Little League World Series. I think it was the Junior Championship was on yesterday in the afternoon, and Chinese Taipei was playing Virginia, I think is who it was. And it was top of the 7th inning. It was 11-0. Chinese Taipei decided to quit the madness and just go crazy on Virginia. And at the same time, there was a scheduled program for Soccer Sunday on ESPN. Major League Soccer was supposed to have the LA Galaxy and the New York City FC on, and they're in the middle of the baseball game, 7th inning, and they had made the announcers had even made an announcement saying, "Oh, in 10 minutes we're going to switch over to the soccer game," because they had to push back the start time because of programming, blah blah blah. Suddenly, like a minute later, the screen goes black. It like almost freezes. And then you hear the soccer commentating, and I'm like, what the heck? What are they doing? And then all of a sudden, it was on. Soccer was just on. So they completely cut away from an ESPN scheduled programming event to go to another one, to another sporting event. And I've seen them make quick transitions from like, oh, this game just ended. All right, boom, now we're into this one for like programming perspectives. But this game is still going on. No, we're done with it. We're going to go to ESPN for soccer now.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And you're saying something that they haven't done that.
If what I saw correctly, there was a tweet that I saw that came out from one of the people that was from ESPN. They said, I've been with ESPN for 20 years, and they've never cut away from a game broadcast to go to another one in his 20 years.
That's crazy. I've never heard of something. I've never heard of that done.
I thought it was just like somebody in the programming booth screwed up. Somebody pushed the wrong button. But no, it was we're done with the Little League World Series. We're moving into our next scheduled program, which is running 10 minutes late anyway. We're gonna the game hadn't started or anything. Like they still had 5 minutes of pregame coverage that was on before they even started the game.
Right, and then you were bringing up the fact that is Little League important because it's not a pro event. It's not a pro venue. It's not a major
ESPN televises
routine.
it like it is, though.
Yeah, and I'll give you a couple reasons for it.
Okay, please.
And why. First, when I was a kid, when I was that age in Little League, and older, a little older for Little League, but like 13, 14 and younger, and like still today, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch, and when you're a kid, it's a huge deal.
Absolutely.
Because you can kind of connect that it's like, oh, this is big, and the sports world is paying attention to kids because it's on ESPN, and they're getting interviews, and their stats are up there, and it's all the things that happen to big league players are happening to these kids that are like when I was a kid that were my age.
Yep.
And I thought it was the coolest thing, and that got me wanting to do sports more. That got me involved in sports, and just think about it too. What's there, it's preseason football, but then again, that's preseason.
Yes.
And that doesn't really, the times don't conflict a lot because more preseason games happen at night.
Yep.
And then there's baseball, which is nearing the end of the regular season, but it's not postseason. And so there's not a lot. There's enough sports going around, but it's not like there's a lot. So it's a nice little end of the summer thing. It's fun, and like I was saying, it gets kids involved with sports, especially baseball. But I think anything, like if you can see that, if I can get to that level, it's a big deal.
Absolutely.
And
it's a great way to get yourself marketed, and I feel like if you're a professional scout, I know that's a little early, but you can start looking at some of these prospects.
You see big leaguers today that were in the Little League. They'll sometimes do flashbacks, and then you'll see footage from them in like the 2000 Little League World Series, crushing home runs, just destroying some kids, and it's just fun stuff. And it does bring out current big leaders have played in there. And like going back to just the fun aspect of it, there was a clip of a pitcher just got absolutely rocked, got a grand slam, and the kid who hit destroyed the ball.
Yeah,
like destroyed it. And the pitcher couldn't help but just put a smile on his face, and he just realized that it's just fun.
Exactly.
And it's a nice little, what I like about it, it's a nice little break from just all the seriousness. And you look at all the sports today with everything that they have going on with like abuse and everything. And
fair enough.
But then I do have one flip side to this though.
Okay.
And it's not about it being a big deal, and you can argue about why you don't see it's a big deal. But what I think takes away from the fun is that out of everything, it's like the adults are ruining it.
The parents are the ones that mess things up.
And it's like, yeah, it's fine if you get like super serious, like fan, like cheering on your kid. I mean, like
you want to do that for your kids,
I'll probably like if my child gets involved, I'll probably get a little intense. But like the coaches, you've had problems with cheating with age. That's a big thing of having kids that are too old to play.
If they're shaving daily, they're too old.
Right. And then last year, the champions of, I don't know if they were the world champion. They were at least the U.S. champions.
They were, yeah. Oh, I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, I don't know if we had a segment about this. It was
that's right.
The team from Illinois. They took players from other zones, which is against the rules, and they handpicked the best players, and it was the first all African American team to go, and it was a really big deal. And then I think it was a Arizona team. It was some team from a state down south that were like, hey, we don't want them to relinquish the championship or anything. We just know there was cheating involved. We're just giving you everything they know. They investigated, and they found out that
they stripped him of the title, didn't they?
Yeah, they took the title away from them. And it's like, why? This is supposed to just be a fun thing for the kids to go and have fun. It's not really about, well, I mean, to them it might be about winning, but you're ruining a fun thing.
Exactly.
And I mean, I think it's important because it's good for the kids, and if you see something, if you want to, it's good to keep the future of sports jazz.
Oh, absolutely. No, I completely agree with you. And that's the only way the sports world is going to continue to grow, by making sure that this generation is inspired and wants to continue the growth.
Right. And then also looking at closing thoughts, ESPN, like ESPN 60 or 30, play 30, or whatever it is, they have a
30 for 30, or
their big thing of staying active.
Yeah.
At least going out
play
and
60.
Play
right.
60, that.
Yeah.
Going on and playing for 60 minutes in a day.
That's the NFL that does that.
The NFL. But it's just sports in general. It's a huge thing, just getting kids to go and play, because childhood obesity is a big thing right now.
True.
So this also helps with that and encouraging kids to get out there and play.
Absolutely. Well, it's been another exciting edition of the Bax and Grant Sports Show. Grant, I think you did a good job of coming back in the saddle.
I might have been a little rusty, but I had so much fun coming back.
You did a great job.
I missed it.
We're excited to have you back, Grant, and I'm looking forward to the remainder of the week and just the rest of the fall semester as a whole. So thank you so much for tuning in. For all of those of you that watched us on Periscope and listened to us, thank you so much. We appreciate all of your comments. We had a lot of fun with you guys earlier in the show. Remember, you can listen to us Monday through Friday now. Yes, Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central on Spreaker.com live.
5 days a week.
Woo! And you can also listen to us on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 Central on Live 365 and TuneIn. And then you can listen to us on demand on iHeartRadio, on iTunes, on Spreaker, and on thesportsquotient.com as well. Social media, Grant, we are on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. The Bax and Grant Sports Show.
Yes.
You can also hit us up on Twitter at BG Sports Show.
That's correct.
I believe is the Twitter handle.
And same for Instagram and Snapchat as well.
Yes, and Instagram and Snapchat. And then I am on Snapchat, on Twitter.
It's like you're giving out your personal Snapchat.
No,
wow.
No. I'm talking about Twitter. Twitter, Grant's Rant, BGSS, and then Baxter at Baxter Colburn.
Try to keep it simple for the fans.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Special thanks to Connor Christensen for stopping by earlier to give us his fitness tip as well. We will see you all again tomorrow. He's Grant Coppersmith. I'm Baxter Colburn. Enjoy your day. We will talk to you all again tomorrow. Enjoy your day, everyone.